Welcome to InCity HotSpots, Rising Stars podcast, where we shine the spotlight on exceptional individuals and youth programs who are making a difference in the lives of young athletes. We have a special guest, Vicente Garcia, who embodies passion, dedication, and a true commitment to youth development and is redefining what it means to be a rising star. Get ready to be inspired as we delve into Vicente's journey, his unique approach to coaching, and the transformative impact he's had on the lives of countless young athletes. Let's dive right in. Vicente, as the founder of OFG, Only for God Academy, can you share with us the inspiration behind starting this basketball academy and what motivated you to work with youth athletes?
OFG Elite. I think the biggest thing is just principles. I don't like to say we're Catholic or Christian. That's not anything I like to say, but I do believe in Jesus, do believe in God. I am a big believer. So I think their principles are correct and stuff like that. So I think that was the biggest thing. I always tell them, a lot of parents get the name confused. Only fear God, meaning, oh, we're scared of him. I say, no, ma'am, the only person we fear going against is God himself. The only person we'd be afraid to be in front of, to go against his word is God himself. Not that we're afraid of him. It is, we don't fear any opponent but him himself. So we're playing, we don't fear anybody. We go 100% forward is what the name means. And then usually every parent's feedback on that is they're like, man, coach, I really like it. I like it a lot. And I guess the creation behind it was kind of, I want to have some kind of discipline. I want to have some kind of principles, some kind of just a way we handle ourselves is the biggest thing. And I feel like if we do it through him, then a lot of kids will be watching their actions. And I tell them, guys, when you're wearing our logo, when you're wearing our name, it's like you're representing us. So when you're out there, like, just make sure you represent us the right way. Be careful of what you say. Be careful of what you do. So a lot of kids have put that into perspective as well, man. It's kind of like a job. I work for Jubilee. If I'm going to have the polo on, I can't be saying things I'm not supposed to, of course. I have to be watching what I say, making sure I handle myself correctly. So a lot of these kids, man, they wear it with pride, man. They wear our shirts with pride. They always ask me like, hey, coach, let me get another shirt. Hey, coach, let me get a cap. So I think the logo has done a lot for us, man. The brand has done a lot for us. It's helped us out in just keeping our principles correct, in other words, and making sure all our coaches represent it the right way as well. Because even the coaches, man, like they'll be like, hey, man, order us 5 more polos. Like he's like, the polos are awesome. Like we have a sponsorship through Adidas, man. So we get great deals with them. They connect with us completely. We have the main guy from Dallas. He gets us all our merch printed on, all our uniforms and stuff like that. And so, I mean, we like you said, man, we've came a long, long way from where we started to where we are now. Now it's just like, it's became insane, and we only hope to grow, basically.
What are some of the challenges you've encountered in running a basketball academy, and how have you overcome them to ensure the success and growth at OFG Academy?
I think the biggest thing with us is we got comfortable. And when you get too comfortable, sometimes it goes bad, if that makes sense. Like you look for the same fundings, and sometimes the same fundings isn't enough. So I think next year, our biggest thing is like, we need to start looking outside the box and getting a little bit more creative and working on our fundraisers. So I even introduced InCity HotSpots to my director, and I told her like, hey, this might be the next big thing. Like, let's give it a try. Let's see what we can do and see if our kids can bring in businesses to start kind of advertising, fundraising. And I showed her kind of how it works. And she's like, honestly, it sounds like a good idea. Like, it sounds, how I said, beneficial for everybody.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking to see the effort. I know the effort that it takes, you know, and like you said, you know, I've I've asked questions, well, how much do you guys make at selling waters at the corner, right? And then there's the fighting between like, well, there's already somebody at Morrison, there's already somebody at the Galaxy on Palo Vicente.
Another thing that people don't realize, bro, is that, dude, I hate to say it, but there's homeless people out there, bro. Like, there's people already panhandling there, and it's just like, it's tough. Like, you want to go sell waters, but there's already a guy there, like a homeless man, and you don't want to take that. Like, you get me? So sometimes it's like, let's go to the next spot. And I told the kids, and they're like, why not? It's just one guy. I'm like, no. It's not even about that. Go to the next spot. Like, let's go to the next spot. So, I mean, it's just tough, bro. That's another, I think that plays another factor. Like, if we see somebody there already, we don't like to mess with it. We'll just go to the next spot. Like, it's like, if somebody's already there in front of Academy, we'll go to the one by the bowling alley. If somebody's already there, we'll go to the CVS over here by Alton War. Like, we'll just switch it up, man. We'll go to the next spot if we have to.
And what is the best fundraiser for that you guys have right now? For example, just to compare.
As much much labor and how much we're sweating and how much work we put in, I think it's the pulled pork and the chicken sandwiches. I mean, the chicken plates, bro. Because on those, we do have a lot of parents that come forward. Hey, coach, I'll buy a pound of chicken. Hey, coach, I'll buy this. Hey, I'll buy this. We just sent one text in the group chat, and it's like kind of like a family. Hey, we're going to a barbecue on Sunday, and everybody's like, hey, we'll take this. Hey, do you need help barbecuing? Hey, do you need mesquite? Hey, do you need this? So I think those are always the ones we look forward to because we know we can count on everybody. If that makes sense.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that would be your biggest fundraiser.
Yeah. Though, like we'll probably make from $3,000 to $5,000 depending on how much we sell in tickets.
Correct.
And sometimes it'll go over. We'll have the fire department. The fire department's awesome, bro. They've always been a great help. Or sometimes the car dealerships will come in too. Or we know one or two. They'll come in and they'll be like, "Give us 10, give us 15." And the fire department just came and they're like, "Give us 25. Like, we're gonna feed the whole fire department today." So I mean, those are kind of the people that we really look forward, and they help us out the most as well, man. Honestly.
And who does all the food for you?
Sometimes it's some of our directors, they own a restaurant, so we'll ask them to help out, and they'll be more than willing to come in. Or sometimes even parents. But we make sure to get the licensing from the food department, the fire department to get the fire going, to make sure they know we're cooking that day. So I mean, there's a bunch of guidelines, but thankfully we are able to get them all through. And at the end of the day, we'll send out a text, and usually someone comes forward, either a parent that's done it before, or one of the like I said, one of our directors does own a restaurant, so they'll come forward and they'll be like, "Hey, we'll help you guys out. We'll cook the rice. We'll cook the potato salad." So we do have a lot of help, man. We do have a lot of structure behind, but it's just like I said, it's just like we can only do it so many times out of the year. We can't be doing it every month because then at a certain point, it's just like, "Hey, you had one last month. Hey, you had one last month." Like not that everybody catches on, but it's like, "Hey, we already bought 10 plates last month. We already bought 20 plates last month." You can't do it every month, man. You can only do it at least twice to 3 times a year at the most, is what I think.
And yeah, and so you raise $5,000, and then it quickly goes.
Yeah,
and you're like,
God, bro,
what's next?
God, and then it especially like we went to San Antonio 2-3 weeks ago, bro, and we had not an emergency but a mishap. And I think when this mishap happened, we always rent the rentals, and we went to, after our tournament, we went to Six Flags on a Monday, and the rentals are about 6'9", 6'8". They're pretty tall, bro. And you know how there's the what you would call it when you're entering at Six Flags?
The metal detectors?
Not even the metal detectors, but it's like you enter, you scan your ticket, and then you push your card through. It's like the little shade things where all the ticket vendors are at.
Okay.
So we're going, and I read it, and it says 6'8", and I'm like, I looked at my passenger, which is one of my coaches, Alex. I'm like, "What do you think, bro? You think the van's gonna fit?" And he's like, "Yes, bro, the van's 6'8". You're good, bro." So we're pushing through, and even the Six Flags lady was like, "Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in." And as we pushed it through, it chopped the whole top off, bro.
Oh man!
And they're rentals, bro, and they're Mercedes-Benz, they're Sprinters, they're top of the line, like TVs, AC running all through in and out the van. Like, it's insane, an insane van. We ended up hitting it, and called the insurance and called the lady, called the rental company. And right away, they're like, hey, don't worry about it, coach. You're not the first one that this happened to, but we are going to tell you right now, it's an expensive repair. So right away, right there and then, like we have to reach into our pocket. We're not going to just be like, return the van, you guys deal with it. Like, no, like we have to reach into our pocket, reach into our funds, and we got to repair. But it's just like things like that we can't control, and that hurts our funds. Like we can't, it's an emergency. It's an organization emergency. It happened. It was a mishap. And our coaches were like, damn, Chente, like you never mess up. This is the first time. Like, it's like, but I told myself it's bound to happen. You're not going to go into like all these road trips and you're not going to get like sooner or later, you're going to get a flat tire. It's like you're going on a road trip every weekend. Sooner or later, it's bound to happen. It's inevitable. Like you're going to run into things like this. So yeah, that's the thing that does hurt our funds, like emergencies like that, or even the slightest thing. Like I'm not going to say it hurts our funds, but it's just like, we got to put everything into perspective. Like we sponsor kids as well. So it's like, sometimes the kid, we're like, hey man, like a kid will be like, hey coach, I can't make it this weekend. Well, what is it? If it's this, then don't worry about it. We're still going to take you on. Like if it's financial, then don't worry about it. We're still going to take you on. Tell your parents that all you need to do is just show up. We'll cover everything. So it's like certain things like that. We got to adjust everything to make everything work, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. I can relate.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you still have your food expenses, right? Like you already have all the expenses that were already budgeted for the event, which was gas for the vehicles, rental fees, food, lodging, right? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You guys pay for all that?
Yeah, bro. I would say like for about 24 kids, you're ranging, you're gonna spend at least $3 to $4K. Yeah. And that's not even including the rental, the hotel, the tournament fees. Like I'm talking about, that's just how you said, the gas, the food, every time we stop at Stripes, sometimes the kid's like, hey, can I get a Gatorade? Like all that stuff at the end of the weekend, by the time you get back, you like accumulate it and you're just like, wow. Like, it's like, wow. And I understand, like, I mean, I got to see it firsthand. I was with the Hoopsters, I was with the Outlaws, I was with the Vipers. So I mean, I got to travel a lot, and I'm gonna say it. My parents we weren't the most fortunate. Like, so when I went out there, and sometimes even my coaches like Hinato, Arnold, Raymond, like Galvan from the Calaballers, like they'd be like, dude, all I'm asking you is for you to go play. If you can go play your heart out, then we'll cover the rest. And I think that's the biggest thing, man. Like seeing these kids, like all they want to do is hoop, and they're kind of tired of hooping here, hooping in the same area, hooping against the same people. Like they really just want to go out there, man. And like, it's like, why, just because of financial reasons, why is that a no? Does that make sense? Like we should be able to help them some way. Like not just because you're playing with your school and you're going to go to the third, fourth round, you can go to Dallas, you can go to Houston, you can go to San Antonio once. It's like, no, bro. Like I really think like we need to push it a little bit more. We need to make sure some of these kids, man, like I'll even say it, like some of these kids, they're talented here in Bronzeville. They're talented in McAllen, Edinburgh. But dude, some of them don't even get to leave the valley, bro. Like it's just like, damn, like that's tough. I think that's tough. That's how you said, it's heartbreaking sometimes. Like so some of these kids are super talented, and like you ask them like, hey man, what do you play for? Nah, I just play at the park, coach. Like I really don't get to leave. Like I just play here. And I'm like, why? And he's like, nah, coach, I can't. Like there's other reasons that play factors and stuff like that. And you just kind of tell yourself, well, I've always told the kid, like, look, man, if you show up to practice, if you're dodging on basketballs, if you're getting every rebound, boxing out, doing what you're supposed to, then I don't see why not, man. We'll figure it out. If you're helping us, we'll help you the best way we can. And that's the way we kind of always handled everything. My director, Suzanne Duracala, she's always told me, like, if a kid says no for a certain reason, we always try to find a way around it. We've always done our best to help the kid. Like sometimes the kid's like, no, I can't because my parents don't have it, or we just can't this time. Like, so we just always tell them, like, look, man, if we can help you figure it out somehow, then let us know. I always tell my kids, it's never a no. It's never a no. Like if you guys need help or assistance, text us. Like, let us know. Be honest. We're very transparent. We always tell the kids, like, hey, like let us know. Because some kids are. They'll be like, I know I'm good, coach. They have too much, I would say, pride. Like they don't want to say it.
Yeah.
So we always tell our kids, like, you're, I mean, I'm not, you're worth it, man. We're willing to do the fundraising. We're willing to put in the extra work just so you can make it for us, like make it with us. So that's a big thing we do, man.
And on top of that, bro, um, their parents would also love to see them play,
Yeah, dude.
right?
And I think, dude, the biggest thing, like the biggest reward sometimes is like getting back and like getting the long messages, bro. Thank you, coach. Like I see how much you put in. I see you're up at like 6 a.m. doing laundry. Like, dude, those are the biggest. Like, you just know you're doing something right at least. Like, I'll get back home. I'm dropping everybody off. I'm tired. And then I get home, laying in bed finally, like doing laundry type stuff. It's already been a long weekend. And then like the kids are already home. And some of these kids, you can be like, some of these kids, you think like they go home and they don't even think about it. Like, yeah, like they're already back in school mode. Like, no, man, these kids will go out of their way and send me like long messages like, hey, tell Suzanne, tell Alex, tell the whole coaching staff, like, thank you for everything they do. Cause I mean, our coaching staff, bro, they don't get paid. Like they do it as like volunteer work. They're out here helping us out. The best thing we do is like, hey, coach, we'll cover your meals, we'll cover your lodging, we'll cover your ride up. You can ride with us. We'll cover all that. But the thing is, like, we don't pay our coaches. Like that's our biggest thing. We tell them like, hey, we'll cover everything. Just come help us out. Like we have great help, bro. Dax Delgado, Karen Davila, Alex Cortez Red, AJ Azandua. Like we have awesome help, man. These guys, like, I'll send a text group chat. Hey, we got practice. They're all there. I'll send a text group chat saying like, hey, we gotta leave at this time. They're all awake. Daniel Guerrero is another one. My bad. I forgot him. But like it's just like it's a great family environment, bro, is what we created, is what I think. And that's the biggest thing, man. Like even our parents, bro, our parents are real like at the end of the tournament, like we only ask for a certain fee. We go to San Antonio. We'll ask for like, hey, we need $60 from each kid just to pay the tournament fee, like that tournament fee. Everything else is covered. Or hey, we need $40 just to pay this tournament fee just so we can get on to the next tournament. We'll do that. But some parents will reach out to us like, hey, coach, like you don't even charge us monthly fees. You don't even charge us this. Like we're going to make a donation. So I've had parents been super nice, bro, and come up to us and be like, we want to make a donation. Just don't mention it at all. You're good, coach. Like this is from us to you guys. You guys have helped us tremendously. You guys don't ask anything from us. So like I said, man, I think it's one big thing that plays in AAU. We don't have a school helping us out. We don't have an organization helping us out. We don't have that kind of structure. So the best thing you can use in that structure is family. Like family structure is the biggest thing. If every parent feels comfortable with you, then they're never going to have a problem helping you out at the end of the day. If I have a parent that I can, Mr. Almanza, dude, I can call him any time of the day, midnight, 2, 3 a.m., he'll answer. Mr. Zarate is another one. Like these parents, they're awesome people, bro. Like if I were to reach out to them, hey, we need help with this and this, bro, I'm on it. I know a guy. Or sometimes our gym's not available, and I'll text the parent group chat, hey, does anybody have a gym maybe we can use just for today? Mr. Almanza will call me, hey, I got one. Boom, 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 show up. So I think our networking amongst our families and our parents has gotten us far, bro. Very, very far. And I think that plays a big part, like a very, very big part in trust, in the kids going with us, in the parents letting them go. Like I think like from 2 years till now, like parents will literally tell me like, you got them, coach. Like they're all yours. And it's a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
But I love it, bro. At the end of the day, I truly love it. And it's something that I do really enjoy doing.
Dang it, bro. Those are that's very impactful. Everything you guys are doing is,
Yeah.
and yeah, you know, my 6 years of being at Cummings, coaching the kids, I know exactly how you feel, the rewarding feeling behind it, because sports was like the only thing for a lot of those kids, you know, on the boy side and the girl side. So at the end of the year, when the coach, you know, the simple thank yous, it's just like, man, all that work, all that time outside, you know, during football practice and in 100-degree weather, like everything is worth it at the end of the year when you put everything into perspective. And
So,
then you're like, okay, let's do it again. All that was worth it.
yeah.
And it's all intrinsic reward, bro. It's all intrinsic. Like you just like, you know what, man, just hearing all these stories, how these kids feel, let's do it again.
Yeah.
Let's do it again next year. Go ahead.
Last year our biggest problem, bro, was like 88 games, bro. a 98 game, like the 9 a.m. games, the 8 a.m. games were, dude, our 16U, which was our 15U last year, they were freshmen. They're a great group, bro. Like very determined, they're young, they're hoopers. They're awesome kids, bro. But their biggest thing was they couldn't wake up early, bro. These kids could not wake up early. And I would be in there. So the thing with me is like around 10:30, you come in and you turn in your keys, your hotel keys to me. So in the morning, I don't have a problem knocking on the door. Hey, wake up, wake up. Like I just slide the key, open the door, turn on the lights, everybody wake up. That's my deal. So every morning, like last year, it was like World War trying to wake these guys up, bro. Like these kids were in bad moods. Nobody wanted to be up. Nobody wanted to eat breakfast. Everybody was just like, just give me to the game, bro. I'll play. Then we're coming back. Like that was everybody's mindset. So I was real like, no, bro, you guys need to change this mindset. You guys need to be ready to play at whatever time I tell you guys. Like, that's all we asked from you guys is just to play. Like, you guys need to be ready to go whenever. So this year, bro, at our first tournament, it was in Houston. We're looking at the schedule. 17U's playing at like, I would say 1. 17U's like, yeah, we can sleep in. We don't got to worry about nothing. So I'm like, hey, bring up the 16U schedule. What time do they play at? 8:30 a.m. And my coach Cortez is like, bro, they're not going to wake up. They're not going to wake up. I'm telling you right now, Chinta, they're not going to wake up. I promise you they're not going to wake up. So in the morning, me and my coach wake up extra early. Let's get down there. Let's have breakfast. So we get down there and he's like, let's not knock on any of the doors. Let's just go down and let's see what happens. So we go down, we take the elevator. The elevator opens up. Bro, the whole 16U is eating breakfast.
Wow.
That was the most rewarding moment ever, bro. Like, you don't understand. Like, my coach's face was like, no, no way. And I'm like, no, dude, like, I was scratching my head. I was like, they're all here. So I pull in my captain, because I have captains for each team. Each team has captains. Yeah, I always tell these captains, look, if anything goes down or something bad happens or I'm not there, you're in charge. Everything falls back on you. So my captains are all like, hey, we got to go. Hey, this and that. So I called in Beto and I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? And he's like, nah, I got everybody up. And I'm like, you got everybody up. He's like, yeah, I got everybody up. I had my alarm on like 30 minutes before we were supposed to be down here. Woke up, knocked on everybody's doors, got everybody up, and everybody's down here eating breakfast. And like, me and Alex didn't even eat breakfast, bro. We went back upstairs because we were so in shock. And we sat in our rooms and we were like, dude, like, I don't care what the record is for the tournament. And we did something good. Like, we got these guys disciplined enough to wake up in the morning, be ready, be eating. So like now our kids, we tell them like, hey, everybody to the bed. Everybody's at the back. And we're at the mall. Hey, everybody stay together. Nobody gets lost. Because we're real like at the mall, nobody's allowed to be it's like we all stay one group. It's better like that. I don't like to lose anybody. Anything could happen. I'm real like that. Like at a Stripes, everybody get in and out. But that was a real big rewarding moment for me and my coach. We were just sitting there like, damn, like that's awesome right there.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a big moment for us.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, and a lot of it starts with, like you said, it's family, right? So
Yeah.
it's you said you have a great group of coaches that you guys get along very well, right? So the coaches themselves, you guys are like a family. You guys, very tight. So that the kids feed off of that and they see that. They're like, man, all our coaches get along. They're like brothers. Or if you have a couple of females, they're like brother and sister. So they already see that family concept, and sometimes those kids don't have that family concept at home, right? And some of them do, right? So it could be a 50-50 split. So then the kids become part of the family. So they get along with each other and they see how you guys, conduct yourselves as coaches and how tight you are. So then now the coaches and kids become a family. And that's how the parents have bought in so much more with you, because they see the whole family concept, not only team, but family. Like, the group of coaches, they're tight. The kids, they're tight. And the kids and the coaches are tight, right? Yeah. So, hey, we're all in, whatever it is that. And so at the end of the day, those three coaches, players, and your parents, you guys are having success in the sense that everybody's pulling their weight. Yeah. As much as they can. They're willing to put in the effort, because these are experiences, bro, that not all, there's a lot of kids at home that are not getting to experience this.
Yeah. And I think like the biggest thing is the major catchphrase I use is like, we're only as strong as our weakest link. So like we as a unit, we push everybody, bro. Everybody. If it's the last guy on the bench, bro, and we put him in, like they're real, like I've seen them, like they support anybody and everybody who wears the name. If you're wearing OFG Elite and you come in, dude, like it's insane. Like the family bond has gone through the roof. And my captains for each group, like Beto Galarza, he comes from he went to Oliveira Middle School. He's now at Haida. He plays major in Matamoros. His family's from Matamoros. I'm not gonna say I developed him, but I've been with him since he's been, I think, 7th grader, 8th grader. And seeing that kid grow up, become what he is now, is just like, wow. Like, I don't even get after him anymore. If he makes a mistake, I can look at him and all he does is like, he pats his chest. Like, I messed up. Like, let me fix it. So it's like, it's not even like, I just give him one look and he's like, I messed up. Let me fix it. I know what I did wrong. And like, it's to the point where like, what'd you do wrong? He's like, I did this and this. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Go. Like, I don't have to get after them anymore. Like, they know what to do. They know how our system works. It's like somebody comes in, I can trust them to teach that system to the next player. And that's the biggest thing. One of my great friends, he told me before we start this season, he told me, you need to implement captains. Like, you need to implement captains, not just for the court, but off the court. Because if you have one guy running the show and you're not there, then it's not that you don't have to worry. You just have a little bit less stress relief. And he was right, man. Like when I made Marco from Lopez and then Beto from Hannah, the captains for both groups, it was like I could get back to the hotel, the Airbnb, and they were already getting uniforms from everybody. So I could wash them. They would knock on my door. Hey, coach, the uniforms are here. Or, hey, coach, we want to go in here. What do you think? Like, it was amazing, man. Like, they would go ask everybody, hey, we got to choose somewhere to eat, but we all got to agree on it. We can't go to coach and be like, hey, we want to go to Chipotle. We want to go to Subway. Hey, we want to go to Cane's. Like, no, these guys were really good at keeping everybody in line when I was like, I need to go shower real quick. Like, I need to go do something on my own in my room real quick. Like, I need to just get ready for the next thing. And they would get everybody in line, like, hey, coach just wants us to shower. Coach wants us to get ready. We're gonna head out in a bit. We just got to come up with somewhere to eat. And they just make sure nobody leaves. If something happens, if something like let's say one of my kids is messing or like kind of like teasing the other kid, like messing with them. You know how kids are, boys are. Marco will bring it to my attention, like, hey, this guy's he's taking it too far. You need to talk to him. I'm like, all right, man, I'll talk to him. Cool. So that's a big thing that we have. Like, we have bigger brothers, is what I like to say. Like, yeah, and then I've seen it myself, man. The 17U takes care of the 16U big time, man. If we're out and about and the 17U sees the 16U doing something wrong, they'll put them in check. Like, hey, bro, stop. Like, coach is gonna say something like, stop. So that's a big thing we've implemented. When we went to Orlando last year, our directors were like, hey, you need to create like a big brother, little brother type situation. Like, so if anybody gets lost, they know who to look for. They know who to be next to. And we did it in Vegas too, man. So that was a big thing. I told the guys, if you guys need to go downstairs and get something to eat, make sure you take somebody with y'all. Like, make sure y'all take a 17-year-old with y'all. So I remember at Vegas last year, every time, like the 17U would always have like a little 15U with them, like kind of like low, like I said, older brother, little brother type deal. And I think everything that we've done from the beginning to like now, and how we still have the same guys or the same core, I think that plays a big part, man. The parents, the kids, the directors, the sponsors. Like, if it's the same family every year, then people don't mind doing it every year. And I thought this year was going to be like a huge die down period. Nah, it wasn't. It was more on our plate for sure. I'll tell you that much.
And these stories with your captains, right? Like, some of these players, we see them. I've officiated some of their high school games, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy because how great they adapt to their environments, and they're one way as an athlete, as a competitor on the court. You know, they're big ego. You know, big ego. But you need that big ego to compete at a higher level, right? And that comes, you know, so it's a different person on the court.
Yeah.
And these captains, as you're speaking about them off the court, it's like, man, a lot of us don't see both sides. We only get to see one side. And, you know, little do we know that these kids are being such an impact, not only to your programs, off the court, but also mentors to younger kids as well, the right way.
I think the biggest thing we pinpointed was like the two differences between ego and confidence. I told him like there's a difference, guys. Having an ego is like just not. It's like having an ego is something we don't want to have. It's like having an ego is being obnoxious. Having an ego is like not the right way. I told the guys there's a difference between having ego and confidence. If you have confidence, your aura shows it. You don't need to talk. You don't need to say bad things. You don't need to talk down on anybody. Your confidence just it'll rub off on the team. If they see you have confidence in some of the darkest moments, like we've been down 20, bro. We've been down 30. Like we've played some tough teams, but Marco's confidence goes through that. Jay's confidence, Jay Salasada's confidence goes through that. We can be down 30, get dunked on, and these guys are still running a fast break. And that's the biggest thing, man. And I think our 17U kind of paved the way for that. Like our 17U was like, we have that game where it's like, hey, man, if we get dunked on, if we get an alley-oop on us, keep it going, man. We're like, we got to be like a train. Like, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. And we've came back. And I told the guys, like, if we're in a really bad situation, I've heard our guys say it. Like, hey, man, we've been in way worse problems in this. Like, we can chew back at this. We can scrap back at this. We can claw back at this. And I think that's like, last year, our 15U, if we were down 15, they would have that mentality like, we're done. Like, yeah, we're done. We're not coming back. And I guess they saw 17U be in that same position and like they would learn off of that. And I think that was a big thing, man. That was a major big thing for us.
Oh, man. Some good stuff. You're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
The right way, brother. I mean, your heart is in it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And everything that you've been talking about, we haven't even started the podcast, but we've already had our podcast within the podcast, which is perfect. Like, it's just, this is what it is. Like, just, and your heart, listening to you speak, bro, like your heart is in the right place. And your coaches that are volunteering, bro, why are they doing it? I'm going to ask you that question. Why are they doing it?
I think the biggest thing is like, so I before all this, I was with like the Outlaws. I got to train with the Outlaws. We had our own thing with New Evolution Athletics. And so it was like I'm not going to say a lot of trial and error, but it was like a lot of learning and viewing from like other organizations. So when we got to ours, I think the biggest thing was like, we need young coaches, man. That like, if it was one thing that kids want to relate, kids really want to relate to their coaches. Like, if I, like, for example, the littlest thing, man, like when I get into the van, I play hip hop music, bro. I'll play Lil Baby, Gunna, all that stuff. And it's not because I want to, it's because I listen to it too. When I go run, I listen to it. When I work out, I listen to it. So when I play it, it's like our kids are like, damn, like our coach listens to that. Like, hey, we can relate to our coach. So the biggest thing is like Alex Cortez, he enjoys it just as much as I do, man. I think everything about our coaching staff is like, they enjoy it just as much as I do, bro. I can be coaching, doing my own thing, yelling at somebody, and they're having a one-on-one with one of the kids behind me, man. And that's an amazing thing to me, because for the fact that my kids are receptive to me, and I trust my coaches, how you said, then they're receptive to my coaches as well. They'll be like, hey, if coach trusts Alex, if coach trusts DV, if coach trusts Cam, if coach trusts Dax, then we're going to sit down and listen to them. And that's because like, Dax is young, man. Dax just came out of high school last year. And my biggest problem was like, when I got out of high school, I wanted to coach. I wanted to do AAU. But like a lot of the kids would be like, bro, you're my age. Like, but the thing is, Dax is patient. Dax is very mature for his age. Dax is calm, composed, like I said, patient. So when he adds like, you ask him a question, he'll break it down. He'll tell you, oh, this is what I did. This is how I handled it. This is what I was doing. This is how I would work out. And I think like, damn, that's amazing. And for example, you saw me grow up playing. I played the post position, man. I'll tell you, spin, drop step, all the 9 yards when it comes to the post. But thankfully, I have these guys that really work the guard position. Dax helps you out with the guards. Cam helps you out with the guards. AJ helps you out with the guard. Evie. So it's like, I think the main thing is like, everybody pulls their weight, man. Everybody's got a spot. Everybody feels like they're important. Everybody knows that if they're not there, then something's going to be like, okay, they're going to be missing me, damn it. And like, I've had coaches miss, and I'll tell them like, hey man, like this guy was asking for you. This kid was asking for you. Like this kid was asking about this. So it's like, I think every coach knows they play a vital position in our organization. You're not just going to come in here and just carry the bags. Like, nah, that's not it, man. Like you're here to give your input. And I always make sure, man, at the end of a game, at the end of a tournament, I always tell them like, hey coach, you got anything to say? Hey coach, do you have anything to say? And they'll put their input, man. Like AJ's my stat guy. AJ's the guy who takes all the stats, your turnovers. And that was the biggest thing this year, man. Like, that was the biggest thing this year. If somebody's underperforming at the halftime, he'll tell them, hey, bro, you got 2 points. You realize if you were to have 10, 12, maybe even 15, we'd be up right now. And those kids will be like, yeah, AJ's right. I only have 2 points. Like, the kids don't even realize it because the game's going like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And at the end, he'll be like, hey, man, you're a starter, bro. You got vital minutes and you only have 2, 3 points. Like, I'm not trying to say you're the reason we're down, but you're vital. You're important. You're important to these runs. If you're not scoring, then we got to figure out somebody else. We got to throw out somebody else that's going to score. So that's what he does. Dax's role, like if a kid's like, if I pull a kid off and I don't have to, sometimes you can't tell a kid, this is what you did wrong, break it down. You're in the middle of coaching, right?
Yeah.
So you let him go sit down, but a kid will be like, damn, coach doesn't want to talk to me. Like, but that's not the case. I'm just going 1,000 miles per hour. There's a lot going on. So Dax is the type to be like, hey man, this is what you did wrong. Coaches want you to fix this. Like, put your head up. You're going back in, man. There's another game. There's another half. There's another minute. You're going to go back in. So everybody, man, like I've told all my coaches, all you guys play vital parts in our organization. All you guys play a vital part in our coaching. It's really become a burden off me. I'm not saying I've stepped back a bit, but I've also I've let them take the ropes a bit more. Cam has his own division from fifth and sixth. He has his own 7th and 8th. He's working on his own JV right now. Dax has a 7th and 8th and a JV as well. And I let them handle their own things. I go out there and help them out. But I do have 100% confidence in my coaching staff. That these guys are great at developing kids, being patient. I haven't heard one thing about them bad or them. One thing that we did have to talk about before the season started, I just told them, look, guys, there's a boundary. You can't be friends with kids. We got to make sure to respect that. I set up guidelines before we started the summer. And I think every AAU organization needs to do that just to make sure the coaches know, like, hey man, like we're here to work. I know it's volunteer work, but some of you guys are training. Some of you guys are training the kids on the side, stuff like that. So I do make sure to set up guidelines to let them know, like, we got to follow things a certain way. Parents, talking to parents, communicating with parents is a big thing. I always tell them, like, yeah, we have great relationships with the kids, but at the same time, we got to make sure the parents know everything that's going on. Like, if we tell the kids, hey, you guys play on Sunday, make sure the parents know as well. I don't want where it's like the kids go home, tell the parents, and the parents are like, wait, what? Like, coach didn't even tell me anything. You get me? So I do stress that a lot as well. So I think at the beginning of the summer, I was super, how do you say it? Not strict, but a lot over everybody's operation. Like, I would watch Dax a lot, I would watch Cam a lot, Alex. But finally, I would say now,
you micromanaged it.
Yes. Yeah. And
at the beginning.
Yeah. And now, like, getting more towards the summer, I saw the success and how everybody was going. And I had great feedback from everybody. And I kind of just told myself, like, we're okay. We had a good summer. That was the biggest thing.
And by doing that, it's going to allow you to continue growing the organization in other aspects, knowing that you're starting to build a team that you can count on, you can trust, because they're pulling their weight and they're being beneficial to the organization. I mean, sometimes those qualities are hard to teach older people, veteran adults that have been in the workforce, how to be a leader.
Yeah.
How to be a leader. And it's not all about micromanaging. Like, it's because you've grown up through team concepts since you all were little. I remember seeing you play since you were 5, 5 years old, all the way through. So you got to see, you had many mentors throughout your life, right? Coaches, different kinds of coaches, and every coach works their teams differently and their organizations differently, right?
Yeah.
Like, so little did you know that you were learning all these life lessons throughout your years of playing.
Yeah.
And, now at such a young age, because you're young. How old are you?
23.
23, bro. 23. You guys speak, you guys are very mature. You speak older than what you guys really are, especially how you conducting your organization. because there's a lot of adults that don't trust people. They don't trust, and they don't grow. They don't grow, and their greed also comes into play. And there's plenty for everybody. There's plenty to do, and there's plenty of resources for everyone, right? And just, I mean, hearing you speak, man, those are some good leadership qualities, and you guys are you're gonna continue going far, because you're doing some things at the age of 23 with this organization that you have, that a lot of other organizations that have been in existence longer are not allowing these kids to travel, haven't given the kids the opportunity to travel this far, right? You guys are going to Vegas. You guys have gone to Colorado. You guys have gone, and the doors are going to continue opening, and you guys are just getting started. You said this is what, your second year in?
Second year in, man.
Wow.
Yeah. And the biggest thing is, like, for example, Coach Cortez, Alex Cortez, his name's Red. I don't know if you met him before. He's a golfer. He's a great guy, man. Great.
Okay. I'm pretty sure I've seen him.
Yeah. He last year he was like the guy I started everything with. He was my only coach. Me and him were the only staff, bro, last year. But and I'm not saying we get after each other, but we've had moments where it's like, hey man, do this or do that, or call timeout or do that. And
you hold each other accountable.
Yes. But the thing is, he's older than me. And the fact that he's receptive to me, like, for how you said, holding each other accountable, is awesome, man. Like, I can truly say he's one of the guys that we started everything with. He's like close as me. Like, he's just been here since day one. And even we talk about it to this day. Like, when we go traveling, he's like, man, remember us last year? We'd be up at 3-4 a.m. just doing laundry. Like, we didn't have the kind of help we do now. Cam and Dax or DV, they'll be like, they'll see what me and Alex go through all day, yelling at these kids, traveling up and down. And DV and Cam will be like, hey man, go to sleep, bro. We'll handle laundry. We'll do the laundry. We'll put an alarm right now at 3 a.m. We'll wake up. We'll go do it. So it's a team effort now. But Alex tells me, dude, remember last year? Like, we would feed these guys, make sure everybody's in bed, then do laundry, then stay up till 3 or 4 doing the laundry, put it to dry, get like 4 hours of sleep, and then play Sunday. And then on top of that, we would drive everybody back. So Alex even says it like, bro, we've grown tremendously. The amount of help is tremendous. And I think these coaches like Cam, Dax, DV, like, the biggest thing is, like, they've told me, like, hey man, this is something I want to do. Like, I want to go to school for this. I want to graduate, and then hopefully I'll have my own, like, middle school, high school, whatever the deal is. But it's like, we get to say, if they do become head coaches and they do create that longevity of being very successful, then we get to say somehow we were not the pioneers, but like the molding of them. We got to help them some way. And that's my biggest thing. I told Dax and Cam, like, if we can give you all experience through this, and I mean, we did something right for everybody. It's beneficial for the whole organization. So that's why I think at the end of the day, they're like, this is really helping me out on the long run. And I that's the way I look at it too. I do want to finish school, then become a head coach someday, or go run a high school program sometime, or whatever it comes out of. But I use this as, like, I mean, how you said, if we can run this, then I think somehow one day we can transition it into that high school, or maybe even bigger than that, hopefully one day.
Correct. I mean, this might, the doors can open. It's always great to finish your education, and you can always do both.
Yeah.
You can continue doing both, or you can choose one or the other, and who knows what the future holds. It's worry about what's going on right now. And you guys are doing what's going on right now. You're living in the present, right? And setting up for a better future.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys are firing away, man, at all cylinders the right way. The right way at such a young age. There's a lot of people that will tune into this podcast, and they're gonna be like, man, these guys are young and they're doing things the right way. And you're gonna touch the hearts of many older people as well that might be like, I can relate to that, because when I was, people that are in their 40s and their 50s and their 60s are like, when I was his age, I wish I had that opportunity, or I wish I would have done that, or I did do that, and they're able to relate to some of these stories.
Yeah.
The coaches, we've all had coaches throughout the years since we were little, and where are they now? They're a lot older. They're in their 50s or in their 60s or in their 70s.
And it's crazy.
And you never forget your coaches, man.
Oh,
You never forget. That is, what is it about? What is it about it? What is it that, why do kids never forget their coaches?
I think I don't want to say it, but like, think about it. In school, man, if you're messing around and something happens and you get in trouble, what's the first thing you think? Oh, snap, coach is going to find out. The coach is going to find out. He's the closest thing to, if you don't have a dad or if you do have a dad, he's the closest thing to dad at school, man. And he's the guy who's going to get after you. He's the guy that's going to take everything. Like, if you get in trouble, he's going to take it away. He's going to take away your minutes. He's going to take away all the things you love about school. So I think that's the biggest thing, man. Like, I always looked forward when I would go to school, man. I'm going to go hang out with coach. I'm going to go right into coach. Like, that's the biggest thing, man. Like, they're the closest thing to an uncle, father, a godfather, to the thing you could have. And the biggest thing, I had one coach, even my football, I didn't like football, but my football coaches in middle school, dude, I loved them. They were the best, man. They were so awesome. Rolando Contreras, Robert Lopez, Juan Aldape, like all these guys were awesome, man. And I think the biggest thing Robert Lopez said was, Coach Lopez, he's like, you guys are going to be 30, 40, 50. And if you guys run into me, you guys are still going to call me coach. It does not matter. You guys will still call me coach at the end of the day. And I still see him. He's my coworker now. I work at Jubilee with him. And I still call him, hey, Coach Lopez, hey, what's up, man? And I still respect him since the day I met him the same way I do. If it's one thing we never did, was never mess with the guy. And he took care of us. We would always ask him like for advice. And he always helped us out, man. If any kind of coach, doesn't matter what it was, I don't know. It was always a borderline of respect for sure for them. Like, you always respected your coach.
And it's funny how it's a small world. And tying into, you spoke about Coach Lopez, right?
Yeah.
This was, I'm a lot older than you are, you're right, but not that old.
Yeah.
Or you my age. I'm about to hit 40. But he was my mentor when I got into the middle school, into the school district. And he's the one that also gave me a recommendation, right? Him along with Genaro, right? So Coach Lopez, he was a great guy. He was a great mentor to me. Yeah. Coming out of college at 24, I quickly got hired, and that was my first school that I worked at. He was the athletic coordinator at the middle school, and he showed me the ropes, man. The ropes of how to be an educator and how not to get yourself in trouble, and how to, who your friends are going to be, who your friends are not going to be, how to do things the right way, how to work with the kids. Like, because when you come out of college, man, it's different. The university is different. We went through the education route, and that's the perfect world, right? If we lived in a perfect world, which we don't live in a perfect world. So once you really get your feet wet into an actual school district, like you're experiencing right now,
yeah,
at Jubilee, right? Things are different, and you have to figure out things on your own. And what we learn in school we can't necessarily always apply to the real world. Mm-hmm. So he was a great mentor in my life at the age of 24, and that's because he never coached me through any of my sports, right? So yeah. I always speak highly of him, and I respect him, and I give him a hug every time I see him, because he was a great impact, in those 2 years that I worked with him. Because from there he transitioned over to the other middle school to become the AC. And
or no,
excuse me,
was it Oliveira?
It was Oliveira.
Yeah, that's where I was. Yeah.
So and then you guys came. So yeah, the coaches, us as coaches, you guys are being the way Coach Lopez was to you guys. Now you guys are paying it forward. Right? Yeah. And now we're paying it forward, when I go to work, and I'm paying it forward with my little ones and just teaching them the lessons that our mentors have taught us too. And you pick the goods and the bad. Some things, some of the, you pick and choose what works for you and what work for them. Not everything might work for you, right? So you give it your own twist, your own flavor, and you're having success, man. Your coaches, your program. I'm just speechless, man. I'm not one to really be speechless ever, but just hearing you communicate, and and what you guys are doing with the kids and how you're doing it, and that's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work, and in order to be able to accomplish all that work, it's sweat equity. You're putting in the work, you're putting in the time, and good things are starting to happen. And you're only in year 2 of your organization. I can just imagine what's going to happen in 3 or 4 more years. Next year even. Look at the growth you had from last year to this year. and I'm looking forward to hear the stories, of what's happening, what's going to happen next year.
Yeah.
So it's just, I'm extremely proud of you guys, man. Proud of you guys. Us listening, us tuning in. I mean, it's just, this is what it's all about, right? Giving back to the kids. What else can we do? I know that in order to accomplish all this, like you just spoke about all the basketball stuff, all the fun stuff, coaching these kids basketball, and then to run an organization, y'all also have to worry about all the funding. That's another chapter in your organization.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, how can I help these youth programs, be able to concentrate on the fun stuff of basketball, of their youth program? What their mission is to, allow these kids to have life experiences and to be able to travel and to be able, we spoke about, some of the things that happen. And it's like, how can I alleviate some of the stress? Can InCity HotSpots alleviate some of the stress where they're not having to, all the other fundraisers that we spoke about.
Yeah.
As far as, all that work that goes in. And, I was like, you know what? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. This is what I'm going to do. And, it'll be a win-win for everybody. And this will allow a youth program to be able to focus on their mission of just basketball, but at the same time have the funding to run their mission.
The biggest thing this helps is like also kind of inspiring people to do it. If people wanted to start off and they don't know where to look for funding, they don't know where to go to, I think this is an awesome way to get started off with, honestly. Like some people just want to help, and it's tough to just do it with no structure, no nothing behind it. I think this is a great way to help them out to get started, get it going, stuff like that.
Cool, man. Because you guys have, you've hustled and you've gone all in, and in whatever it takes. You guys are doing whatever it takes to make it happen, and a lot of it has been, a lot of sweat equity, man. Sweat equity. No pun intended, but kids, a lot of these youth programs, like we said, they're selling waters in 105, 110 degree weather, and I see that, I'm like, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better, and there is a better way. And let's go, let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do together. And if you guys, like you were saying, like the reward, right? How you feel as a coach, when the kids tell you, hey, coach, thank you for this, thank you for that, like it allowed me to enjoy life more. It allowed me to, those are some of the things too. Those are some of my goals too, that, as a coach, just the coach mentality, can I help you guys be able to run your programs? And all I want to hear also in return is like, hey, Sergio, you know what, man? Like this alleviated a lot of stress from us. We were able to focus on the fun part of basketball. We were able to bring in more kids. We were able to hire more coaches, and now we're paying our coaches. And now, who knows? Some of that funding could also be used for some of these parents that are not allowed to, that don't have the funds to travel to go see their kids, their sons and daughters. Hey, here's we're gonna pay for all the parents' gas, for example. Like we'll rent an extra 15-passenger van, right, or another 2-passenger vans. You take 30 parents that didn't have the opportunity, but they don't have to worry about it. They get to go experience that opportunity with their kid just by being able to pay for their gas, right? Yeah. And so there's a lot of creativity that goes through my mind.
There honestly is.
What can you guys do? Like what can you guys do to continue being more not more successful, because you guys are already successful, but what can you guys do to take that big heavy weight off, which I know it's funding.
The biggest thing was this year what blew up was our media team, TCA Studios with Michael De La Fuente. He's a good friend of mine. He was the one that created our logo, our Instagram. He created all our videos, man. Every time we travel, he's our main media source. He's the one that kind of records the guys, does the highlights, does the intros, does the photoshops and whatnot. But that was the biggest thing that blew up. And a lot of the things that organizations or businesses would reach out to us about is like, hey man, would you guys be willing to make me a commercial? We sponsored you guys, gave you guys a donation, or put you guys, or put us on your Instagram, or just the slightest things. We even had like snack shops, like small little snack shops reach out to us, tell us like, hey man, would you guys be willing to advertise this if we give y'all a donation, yada, 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 stuff like that. So we have, or we have at least tried to come up with like an itinerary, or kind of like hey, if you give us this amount, we can do this. If you give us that amount, we'll do this kind of. And that was the biggest thing this year that did kind of help us out with local businesses reaching out to us, asking us about us and stuff like that. Our media team and our marketing team, like it shows. Like our Instagram has gone through the roof, man. We went from, I think we've had the Instagram for about a year and a half, Sergio, and it's got 1,322 followers, man. Like just with a year and a half. And my media team, Mike, he kept telling me like, bro, we're going to hit that mark. We're going to hit that mark. And I told him, bro, it's going to take us 2-3 years to hit it. He's like, no, man, with the way your videos are going, with the way the algorithm's going, with how many likes you get, trust me, like you're going to hit 1,000 followers. And sure enough, man, I think it was this past, not this year, but last year is when we hit the mark finally. He told me, he was like, dude, I told you we're going to hit it. I think the biggest thing is like I said, it's like marketing the organization. The organization has, everybody always tells me like when I'm wearing the shirt, or I'm wearing the cap, hey man, where's that logo from? That's such a cool logo. Like that's the biggest thing that's came to us. So even our directors have told us like, you guys need to start coming out with merchandise. You guys need to start like monetizing, not on the kids, but at least on the brand. That's our biggest thing, is that we don't want to take money from the kids. We want to use the brand to help the kids, if that makes sense.
Correct.
So that's our next big step, is to create merchandise, get it out to the public, show the public that it's a great brand. Anybody can wear it. I mean, even like grandpa, I go to my grandpa's house. Cuando me vas a ganar una camiseta, is the first thing he says. We're like, una cachucha. He's like, he always tells me, I love that brand. I love the Texas. I love the cross. I love the star in the Bronzeville. Shows where we're from. Like it's a great logo, is what everybody says. So I think the biggest thing, our next step going into next year, is we do want to monetize on the logo, on the brand, on merchandise to help us out in fundraising. That was like our next major step, like I said.
Wow, very interesting. The inspiration behind the name. I agree. Living through faith, right? If you have faith that everything's...
And you know, it is, man. I think a lot of that's being removed from now. I'm not going to say from school. It's being removed from certain areas that I think it should be implemented a little bit more. I'm not going to say we should pray or stuff like that when we get to school, but I'm just saying like, we're just kind of removing the whole idea from the school. And I just feel faith's a great thing. It's like having a parent. If you don't have a parent, faith's like having a parent, is one big phrase that I've heard. Having God on your side is like having a free parent, man, or having an outlet when you pray, or just a de-stress is the way I look at it. Like when I'm praying, I just feel like stress relieves, or I feel like I'm talking to somebody, or kind of like a therapy session. I always tell them like, hey, having God is like kind of having like a therapist on your side, guys. And what's wrong with having a guy you can talk to? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
I agree, man. It's amazing. I like it. I love it. I don't like it. I love it. I love the title. I love the reason for it. It's interesting, man. It's catchy. It's catchy too. It's like, man, it's very different. I had never heard of anything similar or close to it in regards to a sports youth program, and I was like, perfect. Every time I see it on social or whatever, and it catches your eye and you think about all that, everything that you spoke about, it's just like all those thoughts, just hit man, they hit home, and it's true, and even there's, everyone has their problems, right? They have personal problems, business problems, whatever kind of problems, right? So we're all human, and when we see stuff like that, it's just a reminder, and it just kind of redirect people back into
it. Was like I've had kids tell me like, this is one of the biggest things, like kids tell me like, Coach, I only feel like normal or myself when we're on the road. And that was just like, damn, like, is like that was like one of the big impactful like statements, is like, I only feel normal, happy when I'm with all the guys. It's just like, damn, you just like that right there was enough for me to be like, I need to think of the next road trip. Like that was already making me think like, man, when's our next road trip? I was already looking at my calendar, like, when am I going to get this kid back on the road again? Like, it's like these kids look forward to this, man. Like these kids look for us. These kids text me, when's our next road trip, Coach? So I can tell my mom already, when's the next road trip, so I can move my football schedule. It's to the point where like these kids are going to school to football and telling them, I got to go this weekend. And that right there is like, dude, like, like if you're doing that much, I got to do 10 times more to make sure this goes through. If that makes sense.
Yeah, fires you up, man.
Yeah, even my director says it, like, these kids are, it's like, it's hard not to do it, man. Like, these kids are worth everything. They're worth all the coaching hours, all the staying up late, all the, even after the tournaments, these guys want to go to the mall. These guys want to go to the Riverwalk. And I'm like, how do you guys do it, bro? We just played 8 games. You guys want to go to the Riverwalk? Like, let's go home, watch a movie or something. Like, call it a night. Like, but
they have more energy than we do, and it's you're starting to learn.
Yeah.
As you get older, you got to keep up with the energy a little bit. So, but yeah, but at the end of the day, bro, like, it's just like you said, it creates a place of peace. All right, it's a place of peace, of happiness for these guys, and that's why they keep saying, "Hey, I want to go to the next," because it's a happy place. It's a place they feel comfortable. There's peace. In the environment, it's a peaceful environment based on the mission, based on the name of your academy, based on everything's tied together, and it just creates it's a win-win organization.
Yeah,
for you guys and the parents feel the same thing, man. They feel the happiness, and they feel the peace in y'all's program, and and there's a lot of stuff that's gonna come from that, and this is just gonna continue growing and growing, and this message is easily shared. It's the beauty about technology, right? That everything you guys are doing can easily be shared and will be seen by people not only in Brownsville, not only in the Valley, but throughout the nation, So it's amazing, man. It's amazing, I'm just extremely proud of you all. And that's because this is what I've seen from the outside. I can imagine how the parents feel, 10 times deeper in satisfaction with what you guys are doing. And I mean, man, I'm all in. I'm all in watching you guys grow, and I want to see these kids, continue. And like, so you spoke about these kids are trying to plan their trips around other extracurricular activities, stuff like that. So one of the questions that I was going to ask you was that in regards to the travel, because you all do travel throughout the U.S.
Yeah.
Right. So you're giving these kids an opportunity. Talk to me a little bit more about, like, what do they experience? What do they say when y'all travel to different parts of the nation?
Last year we went to Vegas. Vegas is always like, it's on, like, if a parent can go, a parent's going to try to make that one as best they can. Because the way we treat Vegas is like, it's a vacation for everybody, because the parents love going. The kids love going because it's during that time, LeBron James is there, Scottie Pippen's there, Paul George is there, Chris Paul's there. Every major NBA team, every major NBA player who owns an AAU team is always there in Vegas. So kids love it, parents love it, our staff love it, our sponsors love it. So every time we go to Vegas, we do our best to make sure everybody goes, including every player, making sure we all get there safely. We do fly, making sure everybody has a room, make sure everybody stays in a nice bed at least. So last year we went, we had a kid from Laredo. His name was Jacob Trujillo. Awesome kid, man. This kid was the closest thing to Marcus Smart I can think of. This kid was diving on everything, stealing everything. If a big was putting it on the floor, he was stealing it. That's one of our rules. If a big guy, anybody above 6'4", if he's dribbling the ball, it's automatic steal. That's the way we look at it. So I remember we were going out to Vegas, and he had reached out to me and told me, "Coach, I'm going to do my best to make it." He goes, "But as for a financial stand, I'm going to see what I can do." And I told him, "Don't worry about it, man. Like, just get on that plane, go out there and get out there with us. And your main goal is just to go play basketball, nothing else." He's like, that's all I told him. He ended up going. And I remember we went to a restaurant. I'm trying to remember what it's called. It was something like Casa de Brasil or something like that. My director told me, "Hey, tell all the kids to put on their nicest pair of shorts and their nicest." Because everybody came in shorts. Everybody came in like a.
Was it a Brazilian steakhouse?
Dude, one of the best ones in Vegas. Beautiful, man. Like, very awesome, man. It was my first time trying Wagyu steak. I hope I pronounced that right. It was amazing, man. So we get there. They had a private room set up for us because it was a bunch of us. It was a whole team. So it was a good amount of us. It was like I would say like 18 to 24 of us. And we show up, and the kids were freaking out, man. Jacob's like, "I'm sitting next to you, coach." Like, he's like, "I don't want to do anything I'm not supposed to. So I want to sit next to you, coach. So Jacob sits next to me, and it's one of those steakhouses where they come up to you and they cut the meat, or you don't have to stand up. It's everything comes to you.
You have the green card and the red card.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a Brazilian steakhouse.
Yes,
those are my favorite.
Dude, awesome, man. Literally one of the best ones I had ever been to in Vegas. So the kids are searching it up, man. They see it's like a 4-star, 5-star restaurant. They're all freaking out. They're like, Jacob looks at me. He's like, hey, there's no chicken strips, right? I'm like, no, there's no chicken strips. So then we're there eating, and we finally got the steaks, and I remember him just like kind of cutting into it, and he was like looking at me and he's like freaking out. I'm like, dude, try it. He tries it and he's like, wow. Like he was in shock. Like he was like, wow. So then at a certain point, like he was kind of like tearing up. And I'm like, dude, are you okay? And he turns around and looks at me. He's like, coach, like in all my years, I never thought like I'd go to Disney. And he's like, you took me to Disney. We went to Florida. He's like, in all my years, I never thought I'd get on a plane. He's like, you got me on a plane. Now we're in Vegas. He's like, in a span of just 2 months, you've taken me to Orlando and Vegas. And he goes, and now I'm eating Wagyu steak. He goes, just for 2 months. He was like, just for 2 months of playing with you. Like, he's like, I'm not gonna lie, you've changed a lot. He goes, you gave me a lot of like experiences. And I was like, man, we're eating steak. Like, let me enjoy it. Like, I don't want to cry it up. So it was a moment we had. And that was like one of like, I told myself, like, if I could do this again, I'm going to do it again. Like if God permits me to do this next summer, I'm going to do it again. Like I don't care. And that's because this year, bro, we've had some mishaps. Like I'm not going to say I have bad luck, but this past month was a tough year, a tough month for us. I'm not going to lie. But last year, that little moment that I had with my player, I was like, I told myself, if I can keep doing this, I'm going to keep doing it for as long as I can.
And I mean, it's live, bro. It's live. You know, it's nothing that it happens. It happens to everyone. It happens to the best. It happens to, you know, it's just we come across obstacles, and that's what makes us stronger. You know,
so much, man. If this was me 2 years ago or a year ago, maybe even last year, man, if like all these things that happened like in like order the same way it did, I think last year me or 2 years ago me would have been like, nah, like that's it. We're done for the summer. Too much is going on. Like I kind of would have just been, yeah, like this is too much. Like this is too much, guys. But this year, I don't know, man. I don't know if you heard, but I got attacked by a dog, bro.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah,
do tell.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
it's bad, bro. It's very, very bad. And I had to get stitches, a skin graft, like the whole thing. I got attacked. Yeah, on my face, my ankle got mauled. It was pretty bad. It was a stray dog. I didn't see it, man. And dude, the day after, man, I was stitched up and everything, and I was already texting the group chat, hey, practice at this time. We got this going on. I had my editor come here. We were doing edits, and he's like, dude, you don't want to rest? You just got attacked. And I was like, look, man, as much as I want to rest, like these kids, we got to get it going. Like, we got a lot of stuff to do. We got Vegas coming up. We got to start planning. We got to start going forward. And honestly, man, I think 2 years ago, me or a year ago, me would have been like, nope, we're done. I'm not doing anything. We're not going to Vegas. But dude, like I said, some of these kids, like this is an outlet for them. This is their escape. This is what they love. This is the thing they do. And I mean, they look forward to it. Like Vegas is one of their biggest things. They get to go back to school in such a good morality, such a good, like, I ended off the summer the best way I could. And that's the same way I do it too, man. We get back August 1st, and then I go back to work August 2nd. So of course, anybody coming back from Vegas on August 2nd, going back to work, you're going to be in a good mood. Doesn't matter how it was or how it went. Like, I think that's the biggest thing, is making sure we end the summer off on a good note. That was like my priority. And I told Suzanne, I was like, we got to make sure everybody gets there. Everybody who was with us from the beginning, we got to make sure. And sure enough, man, our 16U is basically the same squad from last year. 17U's got a few new ads, a few new people from like all over. But I mean, still, it's our core for sure. And that's our biggest thing, was with taking our core out there. Marco, Jay, Beto, all these guys that have been with us since like day one, is making sure they're taken care of.
What's your vision for the future?
I think the biggest thing right now is I want to get an education. I still want to keep it going while I get my education. So it's going to be a balance of a little bit of both, making sure I don't overdo it with the whole organization, making sure I don't overcome my classes, and that makes sense. But I think with the help that I have now and the structure we have now, I think we'll be okay. I got Cam, Dak, Stevie, Alex, all these guys. Trust me, man. They always tell me, hey, man, we already know what to do. We know how you run practices. We know how you do this. We know how you do that. They always tell me, even Dax always tells me, hey, man, if you ever want to take a small break or something, you let me know. And the crazy thing about me is like, Dax and Cam could do this on their own if they wanted to. They've already seen how it works. They've already seen everything. But dude, they believe in the brand. They believe in the logo. They love the family environment. They love how much we support them. They love the whole hype behind it. And I think that's the biggest thing, man. If you have a good base and a good structure, like you said, family, I think you can get anything done, and it goes a long way. That's for sure.
All right, good deal, man. Gosh, we can talk forever.
Dude, I got practice at 12:30, bro.
At 12:30. Oh my gosh. All right, man. Well, let's finish it up. Let's wrap it up. Hey, some great gems. I mean, we went into you went deep, man, on your own. Which is awesome. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
What is it that y'all are doing? Why are y'all doing it? When are y'all doing it? All that kind of stuff. Like, it's just, you're doing a great job, man. I'm extremely proud of you all. I know there's other programs like that in other sports, and more power to you. And every year, next year, I'm excited to see, like you said, you grew from one year to the next. Not only your program grew, but you grew as an individual, as a coach, as a leader, so you're going to take everything that happened this year and you're going to dwell on it, right? And you're going to be like, okay, what was it that worked? What didn't work? Blah, blah. So next year, you automatically are strengthening your skills just by dwelling on what worked and what didn't work and what can we do better next year. So some good stuff, man. 23 years old.
I think the biggest asset we had this past year was I don't know if you're during UIL, you know how a lot of AAU organizations just kind of sit still.
Correct.
Like, during AAU is kind of tough. Or during UIL, the AAU likes to attack the youth. Hey, we'll start developing youth, start training youth. So with us, we're a little bit different. We'll do that, but at the same time, we'll turn into like a little Ball is Life. We'll turn our whole media team, instead of just focusing on us. There's nothing to focus on. We're not traveling. We're not playing. So what we do is our whole media team will kind of focus on UIL. We'll go and make highlights of the players. We'll go make edits of how many this player scored. We'll tell them, hey, this person's got 1,000 points. Like, we'll make sure we try to make sure it's the whole valley, not just lower region. We try to hit, we even try to do Laredo. A lot of people don't like to count Laredo as the valley, but Laredo's part of the valley. Who else? McAllen, Edinburgh, San Perlita. Dude, for example, San Perlita, man, you would think, nah, they ain't got nobody. But there's this kid named Julian Johnson, man, that's at that school. And even I was like, he can't be that good, man, in San Perlita. But I went to go check this kid out myself, man. And this kid, he's the real deal, man. He is the real deal. So if it was one thing that we did when we focused on UIL, we hit every corner, Sergio, every corner. And that was a big thing of our recruiting, man. We were bringing in kids. Like, I remember we'd go to tournaments here locally just to start off the season. And people would be like, dude, where'd you get that kid from? I'm like, so-and-so. And they're like, no way. And I'm like, yes, dude, there's talent everywhere. We just don't look. We go to the normal schools like McAllen, Edinburgh Valley. Don't get me wrong. There's talent at these schools. But, dude, sometimes you just got to keep looking, man. And you're going to find some real diamonds out there, some real gems and stuff like that.
Wow, that athlete at San Perlita, guard or post player?
Post. He's a post, but he's the type of post that if you let him get a rebound, he'll go coast to coast on you. So, I mean, he's a really good. I think the biggest thing is he listens, man. We have a kid named Kohari from Chicago. He was here in McAllen, played in Mac High. The year after his sophomore year, his junior year, he transferred back to Chicago. But he kept in contact with us, and his dad called me, hey, coach, I still want him to travel with you guys. We still have a property down there. So he comes down and he travels with us. Kahari's I would say he's like 6'5", 6'4", but the kid can move. The kid's fast. The kid can go coast to coast. So one thing about Julian, he kind of was like, every time he was around Kahari, he would kind of just learn. It was like a visual thing. So Julian was the type to be on a half-court setting. You would need to set him up. He would post up. But sooner than later, he would see Kahari go coast to coast, and he saw that I give Kahari that liberty. And I told Julian, I was like, Julian, if you can do the same thing, go ahead and do it, bro. Let's see what happens. And I think the next few plays, he was getting and ones going coast to coast. So I think one of the biggest things is like kids join us and they'll be real scared, real timid. They don't want to mess anything up. But once that kid, like he sees everybody else going, they'll get that confidence boost, man. And I've had parents come up to me, like kids, like Nico Swolto is one of them. He goes to Sherryland. His parents came up to me. He's like, Coach, Nico's defense has been tremendous. It's boosted. The confidence you guys have gave him on defense is insane. Like now he doesn't mind picking up full court. He doesn't mind picking up a guy, jersey in his face, like just 100%. So I think some of the confidence in these kids or some of these that's been instilled into these kids is like helped them tremendously. They go back to school, and even I've had coaches even text me, and that's another rewarding part. Like UIL coaches texting you, UIL coaches. You know how some UIL coaches aren't very fun to AAU. Yeah. I've had UIL coaches reach out to me and tell me like, dude, this kid from last year to this year, he's a dog, man. Like he might not be scoring all the points, but he's diving, he's boxing out, he's defending, he's stopping the person in front of him. And I truly believe my aspect of things, the way I coach is, look, man, you're just as good enough player as if you can stop the amount of points our best player is scoring. So if you're stopping a guy that's supposed to have 25, 28, then you're doing just as much as scoring those 28. I always tell them like defense and offense are balance, bro. It's the same thing. If you're getting blocks and you're stopping their best player and their number one shooter who has supposed to have 8 threes has only scored 2 and you're the one guarding him, well, I'm going to leave you in. The probability of me leaving you in is very, very high. We have another kid from San Benito, man, Peter Jackson. He came in from Florida. Kid's a stud, man. He's short. He's a good guard height here in the Valley at least. And he can stop anything, bro. He can stop anything, man. Like the kid can be facing someone that's 6'5", 6'6", 6'8", and somehow he's gonna hold his own. He's gonna stop him. We've had kids who we're playing against who've hit like 4 or 5 threes, and I pull him over. I'm like, Pete, come here. Pete, you know what I'm gonna do, right? Pete's like, I get number 5. Get number 5. Put him in, man. That kid will be non-existent. That number 5 kid who hit all those threes, non-existent, man. Biggest thing for us is like defense, man. Defense. If you can pick up the ball full court, then you can play for us. It's not, offense isn't the main thing. We're going to score the ball. We got enough offensive threats.
And everyone, yeah, I mean, usually everyone that plays basketball, everyone can score, you know, some way or another.
If you're the right way.
But you got to have the heart on the defensive side. And yeah, I agree. Your value is so much higher when you give it your all. You know, Dennis Rodman, back in the day, type of personalities that, you know, like you said, they're hungry for the ball. They're hungry, and they like the challenge of stopping people. They like, it's all about the defense. I'm a big defensive guy too, minded, right? As far as the game of basketball, because yeah, I mean, you know, it's, you know, you run an offense, you run the offense until something opens up, or you can go, you have a good one-on-one. Like, I get it, but if you have a guy that plays defense first, oh my gosh, I agree with you 100%. You know, defensive minded, and the points are going to come. The points are going to be there always. You have your scorers, but I mean, yeah, what you're doing is you're not only empowering. You know, based on what you're telling me, these kids are they like to play for your academy because not. We spoke a little bit earlier. You empower your coaches to be successful. Like, okay, well, like you guys, like show me what your talents are. Like, go ahead and work. And
yeah,
you haven't micromanaged your coaches, right? So they've come out of their shell from year one, and they've produced a lot more than not only you probably thought they were going to bring to the table, but they probably have. They're proud of themselves, right? For the amount of energy and everything that has come out. The players are the same way. You're not micromanaging your players to a certain extent. Yes, you're coaching them, but you're not like, hey, you can only do this and you can only do that, because you got to do everything else that you're allowing them to experience. You're allowing them to find out what works, what doesn't work. And I mean, goes back to you and your leadership. You know, you're doing that with every aspect. You know, you're leading your team, but you're not micromanaging your team, and people like that. They're willing to work and put their effort and energy for people that are not just always on top of them, right?
Yeah.
And like, oh man, get on my back. I can't mess up because this guy, you know, this coach, he's, you know, and that's Man, you guys are way beyond your years, man. And some of these things that you guys are doing with these kids.
But I like I said, man, it was a little bit of everybody. I think learning from everybody. Like you said, from the beginning, from growing up, playing with STX Roosters, the McAllen Ballers, the Outlaws, Henado. I think every program, like I'm not gonna say it was all us. Like I'm gonna say we grabbed pieces from every program, things that worked from every program, and we mashed it up, man. That was one of the biggest things that we did, and it came together for sure.
Good stuff, man. Well, before we log off, man, I know you have practice coming up, and appreciate your time. Just some quick questions, fun questions we've been asking our guests. Coffee or tea?
Tea for sure.
Phone call or text?
Depending on the person. Yeah.
Summer or winter?
Winter, man. I sweat too much.
Comedy or drama?
Comedy for sure.
Rain or sunshine?
Rain. I like the rain, man. My knees don't, but I do.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate for sure.
And early bird or night owl?
A little bit of both, man. Summer, night. During school, I wake up at 6 no matter what. When school comes around, my mental alarm just kicks in, and I love 6 a.m. every day when it comes to work.
Cool. Yeah, you're able to balance it.
Yeah, seasonal.
Seasonal. All right, Vicente, appreciate it so much. Once again, from InCity HotSpots, we're so proud of everything that you're doing. Continue doing the great work that you're doing, man. I don't know. I'm speechless. I'm speechless in going in depth into what is it that you guys, how far you guys have gone, in such a short span of 2 years, right? You had great success last year. And yeah, obstacles are going to continue coming your way and continue firing. It's a jump shot, right? You miss that jump shot, keep firing away. You're going to get that next one. And, any obstacle that comes your way, overcome it. And, you're going to get that. It's another door is going to open. When one door closes, another one opens. When an obstacle comes your way, you can overcome it, right? And there's a problem, there's always a solution. And it takes a little bit more work, but you are being a solution. You're finding all these solutions to all these problems that you're having, as far as like, okay, well, what is it that this kid can bring and what can he bring? He doesn't have access to this and that. And like your team is constantly finding ways to find solutions to all these problems. Yeah. So continue, man, continue. I support you all 100%. I'm extremely proud of you all. Big hugs to all your coaches, man, because, being an impact to the kids like that, the stories that you brought today, it's what youth programs are all about. And
yeah, for sure.
I can relate, and big hugs, man. Big hugs from you guys. Anything else we said that you'd like to share before you log off?
Nah, I think I'm good, man. I think we said it all. We had a good little podcast, I'm not gonna lie.
All right, man.
My first time, bro. I was a little nervous, bro, but I think it was great.
You didn't sound nervous. You didn't seem nervous. You didn't look nervous. You did a great job.
Hey, let me know if you ever want to do it again, man. For sure,
man. Oh, for sure. There's always room. There's always room. We can talk basketball for hours. We can talk programs for hours.
Next time I won't have a practice for sure, bro. I know we can go on for like 2-3 hours.
Okay, go for it. Good deal. Hey, enjoy. We'll talk soon, and wish you all the best.
Good hearing from you, bro.
Likewise. Bye-bye.